Welcome back to Listen Up, Phil and Rye with you on
Yes,
this
sir.
beautiful, well, not beautiful, it's a little rainy Sunday afternoon here discussing more UConn Huskies women's basketball. Phil, you did a good job yesterday on that recap.
Appreciate it.
UConn with the nice win yesterday. But now we're already on to DePaul already. The UConn playing with the rescheduled game tomorrow night. DePaul struggling a little bit, 11-9 record, but struggling a little bit in Big East play, having just a 4-5 record so far. This game, like I said, was postponed about 2 weeks ago due to UConn only having 6 available players. We know AZ will be unavailable now for at least 2 weeks. Doesn't sound like Caroline's progressing anymore. I don't think she'll be ready for this game. Maybe Ayana will, but we'll just have to see as the game gets closer. Blue Demons, led by head coach Doug Bruno, a respected head coach who has been coaching his alma mater for 36 years now, has led DePaul to 18 NCAA tournament appearances in the last 19 seasons. That's only been done by Tennessee, Stanford, and of course UConn. But moving on to the starting lineup, led by sophomore forward Anissa Morrow, who has leads DePaul in 4 of the 5 major stats, averages a double-double her freshman year, and still is doing it again this year in her sophomore season, averaging 26 points and 12 rebounds. Joining Morrow as senior forward Morris Jory Allen, and guards Anaya Peoples, transfer from Notre Dame, Diori Rogers, and Kendall Holmes. Now, this is a home game for UConn, so I think the key yet again is turnovers. I think they struggled a little bit in that first half in yesterday's game, but I think it's still continuing to clean up a little bit of the sloppiness on offense, because I think it's going to eventually come back to bite them if they keep averaging about 15 or 20 turnovers a game. Look for DePaul to shoot the 3 ball, get it tomorrow a lot. She's their best scorer, their best shooter, rebounder. She does a lot of things for this team. One of the best players in the Big East and really the whole country, if you ask me. So UConn's going to have definitely a plan in place to try to stop Morrow or limit her as much as possible. So they'll definitely have to keep a close eye on Morrow to make sure she doesn't take over this game. But I think it should be an interesting game. UConn struggled a little bit yesterday, but we'll just have to see how this game goes. I'm not really, every time it seems like we pick a game to be a blowout, it's closer than what we think, or if we say it's going to be close, it turns into a blowout. So it should be an interesting game against DePaul.
Yeah, Ryan, we will save our can you hear me fine?
Yeah, it still sounds
All
good.
right, good. We will save our predictions. Your MVP. I don't pick MVP anymore. I think that's bad luck all of a sudden. And then we'll go over predictions at the end of the video. Yeah, I'm glad that you finally made it back with me, Ryan. It seemed like a year that you've been off, but it was only one game recap. But I told them that you were on vacation. Now I'm just kidding. You wish that you were down there in Key West, but you wasn't. But yeah, so what did you take away? I mean, actually, was it anything? Obviously, I try to live up to your standards, but that doesn't always happen on game recaps. Anything that you took away as far as yesterday's game that would transition into the game against DePaul? Because I tell you what, I was listening to Gino, and if you let Morrow loose, I mean, if you don't cover her, especially down low, I don't think that UConn can only come out. What was it? I think they scored 10 points in the first quarter. But I mean, Ryan, they had a bad enough time just trying to score 4 points.
Yeah, it was a struggle, like I said, especially in that game against Butler yesterday. But I think for most of the season, it's really been the bigs for UConn. I think Aaliyah and Dorka are going to continue to dominate. I think Aubrey had an amazing game yesterday. But I think it's mostly going to be those 3. I think Lou, like you said, she was shooting the ball very good yesterday and was making all sorts of crazy shots for UConn. And like Gino said, they don't really, this team, we don't know where they would be without Lou. She's such a great scorer and
Yeah.
shooter, really just fit in perfectly to the system, like we've said all season long. So she's really been a nice pickup, a nice pleasant surprise for this team. But I think it's just going to continue to be Dorka and Aaliyah down low for UConn. That's seems to be the recipe for success this season. And if UConn continues to get it down low and kind of dominate the paint, get rebounds and get it out in transition, it seems like it's the recipe for success.
All right. Let's get into comments very quickly. I'm going to actually go to Brian Wilkinson right away because I appreciate you coming through, Brian, 22 minutes ago. Let's go with his comment. With 5 minutes played in the first quarter, Butler had 13 points and UConn had 4. The rest of the game, UConn scored 75-26, a 49-point difference. You said McLemore rained down threes. Don't know how, since she only scored 4 points the whole game. that was my. She might have one. I got to go back and look. Everybody's not perfect. I appreciate. Sorry, Ryan, and I appreciate the correction. Don't know if you noticed, but on several occasions, when Caroline was shown on TV, she had her mouth wide open and yawns. They need to get that girl some sleep. She looks almost totally uninterested in the game. The night before, UConn, Butler, Villanova crushed Creighton. Creighton missed their first 18 shots from the field, and at the end of one quarter, Creighton had 6 free throws and no baskets. Maddie Burke made all 5 of her 3-point attempts in the first quarter for 15 points and never scored again. I bring that up because you seem worried about UConn's problem with opponents making threes. You are right in one light. One person on an opposing team can turn a whole game around with a hot hand shooting threes. What, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Ryan, but just go ahead. I'm not blaming you or bringing you down like everybody always thinks all the time on this podcast. But if you want to go ahead and own up to it right now, that's fine with me. If you don't, if you want to wait until the season's over, that's okay too. Don't you have a lot of concerns on your plate? I mean, when it comes, I'm sorry, the word March cannot come out of my mouth anymore. So I'm going to say, don't you have a lot of concerns on your plate for this ball team? Obviously, everyone does, but I think that not a lot of people are realizing you have more concerns than what they think. When it comes to the future, I'll say use the word the future.
Well, I think that definitely the future of this season, and I mean the concern I think is just the injuries, and he just mentioned Caroline, and I was just thinking I don't really know what's it seems Caroline is having quite the difficult season from the beginning, really from the off season, because we thought she was going to be healthy, and it just never seemed like she got healthy enough to be able to play. She had a couple of good games here and there. It really helped UConn win a couple of those games, but she's just really had a tough season, and that really just goes for the whole UConn roster. So I think it's definitely a concern if UConn isn't fully healthy by the Big East tournament, certainly by March. But like we keep saying, we got a long way to go until March, and I can't really talk about a March Madness a lot anymore until we get a lot closer. But it definitely is a concern if all these players can't get healthy, because I just don't see how it's possible to roll through all these teams as we go further. And these next stretch of 5 teams is very, very difficult, the upcoming couple of weeks for UConn. So I'm not really sure how long UConn can continue to win a lot of these games when they only have 7 available players.
Username Thunder Swag. I like it, man. Keep on coming through. Thunder Swag goes, will you stop thinking about March and enjoy every victory UConn has had? Every single time after one game, you start to spoil the victory by speculating about things nobody knows anything about. Nobody knows the circumstances that will be prevailing on March. They can all be ready to play, or they would just be the same 7 players. The other teams might have the very same problems UConn is having right now. Nobody knows what the situation will become in March. Stop minimizing the victories these girls fought hard for. You all got a knack at nitpicking the way these girls play, and yet every single time they end up with a win. How about we celebrate the win now and just wait and see what the situation will be on the next game?
Well, and I guess that's why we do these last check-in videos.
Do I not give credit though where it's due? I do. I seems like I do that all the time, don't I?
Well,
But at the same time, Ryan, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not waiting for this moment. A lot of people think that I am. Don't count Phil out. Don't think that I'm somebody that I'm not. I'm telling you, no matter where this road ends, Ryan, you already know my favorite player is Paige Beckers. Why am I looking forward to 23-24? Come on, let's go, man. Get her off the bench, get her healthy, and show not just show the UConn program what basketball is all about, the basketball capital of the world. How about let's show the world Paige Beckers again?
Well, and hopefully we'll be celebrating a lot next season as well. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to sit up
and the
here.
rest of the players that are injured.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I hope we eventually get everybody back healthy, but seems like that's hard to do these days. But I would love to sit up here, and I love to after all these games and celebrate the wins. But I think it's just kind of expected that UConn wins these games. And if they don't, I think that's when panic starts to set in. Of course, these next upcoming games, like I said, are going to be really, really difficult. But I think that's part of our job is to kind of nitpick and see, what UConn can improve upon. But yeah, I mean, certainly celebrate each and every win. It's definitely really, really important. But we pretty much already know that UConn is guaranteed a spot. But yeah, I mean, it's they have to win each and every game, and each and every game is certainly a battle. And when you only have 7 available players, all the starters are fighting really, really hard out there. And like I keep saying, the team UConn, each and every season always comes with the maximum amount of effort, and goes out there each and every game and fights their tails off.
I think I saw Jana Alfalfi, the 6'4" forward who will be signing into the class early. So I don't know. I think that she will be able to play maybe this season. We may see her, Ryan. But again, even if we don't, I'm looking forward to her coming next season with KK Arnold. KK Arnold will be here. A very talented 23 class. So it's not only about getting these injured players back healthy, man. I mean, it seems like now this is only temporary. Just understand that. There is a bright future, and I strongly believe that in UConn, because you and I have studied up on the actual classes that are coming in. And that just provides, as long as there's no bad luck again with injured players or with injuries, there's going to be a lot of depth on this roster coming up. So we have years to come about a lot of showcase talent on this podcast. This is only temporary. I know people are out there like, oh my God, I had chest pain. I need some Advil or Tylenol or whatever. Man, look, calm down. This is only temporary, Ryan. UConn basketball will get back to winning championships 4, 5, 6 years in a row when the time is right.
Well, and we all certainly hope so, right? But yeah, I mean, with Jana Alfie coming early, and hopefully she'll be able to play this season. I don't think we're quite sure yet about her availability yet, but I that would be a major help, especially going into the future of this regular season. And like you said, the future to come, because it's very bright, and that's why we'd love to talk about all these new recruits coming in and the possibility of getting a couple of transfers. It's always exciting to look forward to the future of this UConn Huskies program. Because each and every player that comes in is usually really, really talented. So that's why we're all so excited to see all these new players and watch them develop over the years. But got a lot of things to still work out this season, and it's still going to be quite a grind, I think.
Listen, man, I mean, we had fun on this podcast. I'm going to tell you right now, Ryan, and for all the subscribers out there, I could have all the knowledge in the world. I really could about this UConn team and basketball itself. And it would still not make a difference, I think, to some people. I want to point that out right now, and I'm sure that you agree and have a comment on this as well. I'm telling you right now, man, we had fun on this podcast. And if you can't survive under pressure, I strongly believe that you're not a true sports fan. And I know that you can comment as well on that if you have any thoughts, but I just wanted to put that out there right now while I can.
Yeah, and well, we certainly always love to have fun. It's nice to not go on and be serious all the time. We certainly try to lighten the mood some, even after all these wins. We kind of try to, there's certainly times to be serious, and certainly other times to have a little chuckle or laugh in there. But certainly we try to lighten the mood as much as we can.
How about Jason D'Amico to cap it off? What's up, brother? The turnovers, and again, we are praying for Jason, and we hope he's doing well. Let's just put that out there right now. The turnovers are the most worrisome. If UConn turns the ball over this badly against non-ranked teams, how can they expect not to do it against elite teams? That should be the number one focus in practice from here on out. We can't have 18 to 25 turnovers a game and expect to win in March. Great job, Phil. Peace. But again, that's living proof, Ryan, that again, some people agree with me, some people disagree with me, and that's fine. It's a podcast. It's a podcast. We bring all arguments to the table. We like to debate it. We like to talk it out. But it seems like the Jason D'Amico and Thunder Swag are on two totally separate roads to March. One is worried about March. One says, March will be here when it's here.
Yeah, and I completely agree with Jason because it's definitely a concern, and it's been a concern for about, it seems, the past month or so now about these turnovers each and every game. And I hate to keep talking about them, but until UConn can correct them in some way, it's definitely a worry and concern. So it's like I said, it's going to be a grind, and I certainly agree with Jason about in practice kind of just working on something or trying to get easier plays in place, or I don't really know what the solution is. I'm sure Gino has one. Of course, he always has a solution for everything for this team to put them in a better position. But I don't think UConn can, like I said, keep surviving if they have average 15 to 20 turnovers a game.
And it's DePaul and number 5, Connecticut tomorrow, Ryan, 7:00. We will be back here very late tomorrow night to recap that fun matchup. And it's a lot of worry and concern. You talk about worry and concern. There's a lot of worry and concern around UConn right now about the very young talent coming in here, especially with the name Anissa Morrow. Ryan, how will they shut her down? That will be answered tomorrow night. Game recap, estimated time right around 10:00, Ryan. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.